Imagine this. The year is 2007. You come home after a long day of 8th grade schoolwork. Mom's got dinner cooking on the stove, and Dad's over there watching Simpsons on the TV, and you find yourself having all the time in the world to play some Runescape. Now you've been playing Runescape for quite a while now, but you've never actually been a member before. Your parents are untrusting of this newfangled internet, and won't give up those coveted credit card numbers for you to level up like the real gamer you are. By some stroke of luck, perhaps divine intervention, you somehow figure out that the prepaid minutes that you have on your Razr flip phone can actually be converted into RuneScape membership. You swiftly sacrifice a few weeks worth of prepaid minutes to log in for the very first time as the brand spankin' new member you are. God damn it, it's good to be alive. You walk through those Taverley gates for the first time and smell that sweet, sweet membership air. Oh. Unfortunately, reality crashes back down and you realize you don't even know where to begin. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tryhard Casual, and that was me 13 years ago. 13 long, painful years ago. Being the naive 8th grader I was, I quickly bought the first item I had never heard of before, trained to level 70 combat stats with a rune battle axe, and sold my body as a rune essence slave miner for what I thought was good GP. Needless to say, I didn't know what I was doing. Looking back on it now, it provides me with a few good laughs, but also reminds me of where I came from and how hard it can be to be a new member for the very first time. To save brain cells and countless hours of new new players, I decided on throwing together my personal top 10 goals for RuneScape members. Now these goals aren't in any particular order, but I did find them to cover a wide range of difficulties, time investments, and areas of the game to get a handle on. However, I did try to pick goals that were relatively quick and for accounts that are in the new to mid-level range. I obviously couldn't fit absolutely everything I thought was beneficial into a top 10 list, but I'm sure more experienced members than myself will politely suggest other goals to work for down in the comments below, whether I want them to or not. But speaking of goals, let's start off with the first one on this list. If there was only one recommendation I could provide new members with, it would be to train their agility level and to focus on getting a set of graceful gear. If you think about it, no matter what you're doing, chances are you're going to be running around, especially if your account is newer and you don't have a lot of transportation methods unlocked yet. It's a really nice quality of life skill to train right away since it makes everything else more efficient when traveling. The RuneScape wiki on run energy shows a chart that clearly visualizes how it helps restore your run energy as your level increases. Just getting to level 18 agility will give you a 25% boost to your run energy being restored. I would personally encourage you to aim for at least level 50 agility because it doubles the rate at which you restore run energy. On top of having your run energy restored quicker, you end up being able to access a lot of shortcuts in the game, which again is just a very nice quality of life goal for your account. As for the graceful gear is probably the most consistently worn set of gear that I put on when I'm playing RuneScape. It actually provides two different helpful bonuses when equipped. First off, every piece of graceful gear worn will increase your run energy restore rate by a small percentage, and when you have the entire set equipped you end up getting a 30% bonus. Secondly, each piece has a negative weight rating on it. To put it simply, the more your character weighs, the faster your run energy will deplete when you're running. Having gear that reduces your weight to 0 or below 0 will ensure that your run energy is draining at the slowest rate possible. While the other benefits of the graceful gear will ensure that your run energy is being restored at a much higher rate. To actually acquire the graceful gear, you need to run any rooftop agility course and collect the marks of grace that randomly spawn when you're training. Agility might be a little slow and boring to train, but the benefits clearly make up for it in my mind. Waterfall Quest is probably the oldest trick in the book for veteran RuneScape players starting a new account. This quest doesn't have any major requirements to start, and it gives a lot of strength and attack experience when completed. If you are at level 1 for attack or strength, completing this quest would bump you all the way up to level 30 in both of these skills. There is a slight chance you will be one-shot when running through the dungeon, so I would recommend looking up a quest guide on it if it's your first time. All in all, it's still very easy to complete and more than worth your time. Witch's House is another quick quest with no major requirements to start. The reward from this one is a hefty amount of hit point experience. If you had level 10 hit points, then completing this quest would boost you all the way up to 24. At the end of this quest, you will have to fight a few monsters in a row that progressively get harder, the highest one being level 53. Watching a quest guide will show you how to safe spot the monster and attack from a distance if you're a lower level. You might have guessed by now that Fight Arena follows the same idea of these previous two quests. No requirements to start, it's quick, and you get a lot of attack experience upon completion. You know, again, watching a quest guide helps immensely, and if you're a lower level, you're going to need to know where the safe spot is so you can either range or mage the monsters as they come out during the quest. So I would also recommend you have your ranged or magic up at least a little bit before attempting this one. Before going any further, I wanted to throw out this quick bonus goal because it's pretty quick to finish and it's fairly important for your overall account status. First off, before you can even earn construction experience in the game, or do any quest that rewards construction experience, you need to own a house. To purchase your own house, you can visit any estate agent, the most convenient one being located in Varrock, and pay 1000 GP for a starter house. Down the line, construction offers some of the best quality of life improvements to your account, but at least owning a house should be one of the very first things any new member does. Along the same train of thought, before you have any access to the Herblore skill, you must first complete the quest Druidic Ritual. This quest is extremely short and is required for a lot of other quests in the game, so also having it as one of the first things to strive for is recommended. Unlocking fairy rings is probably tied for the second longest goal I put on this list, but it is here for a lot of good reasons. I'll start by just talking about what fairy rings are. Fairy rings are a method of transportation to get around Runescape. A lot of the time, using a fairy ring will be the best way to get somewhere, and they can be located in a lot of off the beaten path areas. So no matter what level your account is, fairy rings are going to be useful. The quest to unlock fairy rings is called Fairy Tale 2, which actually doesn't have to be completed. Very early on in this quest, you unlock the use of fairy rings, which means you don't have to worry about any of the level requirements associated with this quest. There are a handful of prerequisite quests you need to complete first, which is why this goal might take a little bit longer to complete. 4 out of the 5 prerequisite quests come with very useful rewards for your account. Reckless Ghost rewards you with a moderate amount of prayer experience and the Ghost Speak Amulet, which is required for many other quests in the game. Completing Priest in Peril will unlock Mortania for exploration, quests, monsters, and gear later down the road. The quest Lost City will allow you to equip the Dragon Dagger once you have level 60 attack. This is one of the best budget melee spec weapons in the game. And lastly, Fairy Tale Part 1 Growing Pains will reward you with the Magic Secutors, which is one of the best items to use while farming. I would say if you're looking for something that will be a nice all-around improvement to your account, unlocking fairy rings is the way to go. Unlocking spirit trees is another great addition to anyone looking to increase the amount of transportation methods they have available to them. Currently there are 6 permanent spirit tree locations in the game, and when you eventually get your farming level up high enough, you can plant an additional 6 more throughout the world. To unlock the usage of spirit trees in general, you must first complete the quest Tree Gnome Village. The quest itself is rather short and also rewards you with 11k attack experience. The Grand Tree is also another quick quest that allows you to use the Spirit Tree at the Tree Gnome Stronghold, and it rewards you with 18k attack experience. Additionally from this quest, you unlock the usage of Gnome Gliders, which are admittedly not the most useful mode of transportation, but can very rarely be the best way to get to some niche areas in the game. Both of these quests do have high level monsters you have to slay, so as always, using a quest guide to see where to safe spot these monsters is highly recommended if you're a lower level. One of the most popular reasons to become a member in RuneScape is to get into bossing. For this reason, I would recommend trying Wintertod. Why I recommend this boss specifically is because your combat level doesn't matter, so even a level 3 account with 10 HP can comfortably earn rewards, make a respectable profit, and level up a few of their skills in the process. On top of that, you get to experience the Wintertod community, which is simply too beautiful to explain in a video. The only requirement for trying this boss out is to have level 50 fire making. If you wanted to try Wintertod for yourself, then I'll leave a link down below to a video I made on it that will tell you everything you need to know about the encounter. If you've been playing on a free-to-play world for a while, you may have noticed that the most popular training spots are usually extremely crowded. Finally, making the transition to a member world will undoubtedly make those areas far less crowded, but they will no longer be the best places to train at. Honestly, there's a wide variety of monsters you can train on, but I will talk about 3 of the most common spots to train at: yaks, experiments, and crabs. All of the monsters on this list do follow a common pattern of having high hit points, low defense, and low max hits. So you're able to not worry about dying, and then attack each monster for a longer period of time without worrying about clicking on it again. So let's start off by talking about yaks. Yaks will have the highest requirements and time investment to unlock, but doing so will also reward you with some other nice items. Yaks are located on the island of Neatsnot. To access this island, you must first complete the quest, the Fremenic Trials, which will reward you with respectable helmet options for ranged, melee, and magic. After completing the Fremenic Trials, you must at least start the quest, the Fremenic Isles, to get to the island of Neatsnot. I would encourage you to also complete this quest because it rewards you with one of the best melee helmets in the game, the Helm of Neatsnot. Our second option to train on is going to be Experiments. Experiments also have a quest requirement to unlock. Completing the quest, Creature of Frankenstein, will allow you to train on experiments in the Experiment Cave. It will also reward you with the Ring of Chaos, which is a ring that will be used in various other quests during your playtime in Runescape. It can just be nice to have it ahead of time. Finally, we have crabs to talk about. 3 different crabs to be exact, each with their own unique reason to use them. We'll start with the most basic ones, rock crabs. The popular rock crab training sites are located at the northeastern end of Relica and also on Waterbirth Island. Rock crabs can be found in small groups in multi-combat areas. The beauty of this is that rock crabs are also aggressive towards you, meaning they will attack you without having to click on them first. After a period of 10 minutes goes by, however, rock crabs will lose their aggressiveness towards you. All you have to do is run away from your area and then run back to where you were for another 10 minutes of not having to look at the screen. This allows you to AFK and relax a little bit to just focus on other matters while your RuneScape character levels up. It's also worth noting that rock crabs are the only version of crabs that a cannon can be used on. It's a little expensive, but it provides extra ranged experience if you feel like shelling out money for better training rates. Sand crabs are next on this list and probably going to be the best training option for a lot of accounts because they have no requirements to start and follow the same mechanics as rock crabs. Additionally, they sport 10 more hit points than rock crabs and they're more numerous, being located along the southern beach of the Hosidius House and on Crabclaw Island. This usually does make them a bit more crowded though. And finally, we have swamp crabs. Swamp crabs are specifically designed to be trained on with range because they have a ranged defense bonus of -55. They are located south of Port Phasmatis and are usually less crowded than the other crabs on this list because they're not talked about as much. Now there are a lot of achievement diaries to complete in RuneScape, and a lot of them can be extremely useful. If I had to pick only one of them to earn, just one, it would be the Varrock Medium Diary, for 2 reasons. The main reason is simply a quality of life adjustment. You are able to change your Varrock teleport destination to be at the Grand Exchange rather than Varrock Square. It's honestly such a simple and small change, but think about it. Every single account in the game, besides Ironmen, consistently find themselves at the Grand Exchange for various reasons. In the grand scheme of things, saving that short run from Varrock Square adds up drastically over time. And honestly, I hated that run. I was so lazy, I hated that 15-second run from the square to the exchange. I don't know what it was, but damn, it feels good to never have to do it again. As for my second reason, you're able to purchase 30 battle staffs from Zaf at his shop per day for 7k per staff, which is all roughly sold for a 30k profit on the Grand Exchange. You basically get 30k per day for doing absolutely nothing. Animal Magnetism, Mage Arena, and earning your Dragon Defender are all great milestones to reach on your account in regards to combat gear. We'll start by talking about Animal Magnetism since it has the easier requirements to unlock arguably. Animal Magnetism is a quest that will reward you with a backpack that will basically be your best in slot ranged cape slot item for the entire game that you can upgrade a few times later on. On top of that, the backpack has a chance to automatically retrieve ammo you use from your ranged attacks, such as arrows and darts, which saves a lot of money over time. The quest itself does have a few different level requirements to start, but notably you need to have level 18 Slayer. Slayer is one of, if not the most popular skill in Runescape because of the money you can make training it and the excitement you feel when you unlock those higher level monsters for the first time. So by starting this quest, you also start your Slayer journey, which was actually narrowly cut from this top 10 list. Honestly, an introduction to Slayer could use its own video entirely, so I'll leave the research to you guys on this one. Next up, we have Mage Arena. Mage Arena is a quest that will reward you with the best Mage Cape slot item until later in your account when you can complete Mage Arena 2. The mini quest is very short, but it does require you to have level 60 magic to begin. You also have to be deep in the wilderness, which allows other players to attack you during certain parts. Looking up a quest guide is highly recommended so you can see exactly what you'll need to be doing. Now, getting your Dragon Defender isn't tied to a quest, but it is tied to your attack, strength, and defense level. Getting the Dragon Defender requires you to have access to the Warriors Guild, and entrance to the Warriors Guild requires you to have a combined 130 levels in attack and strength, or at least have level 99 in either one of those two skills. After you enter, you'll need to earn some champion tokens and kill Cyclopses to slowly work your way up to a Dragon Defender, all the way from bronze through random drops. Looking up a video to show you exactly what you need to do is again very recommended. To actually equip the Dragon Defender, you'll need to have an attack and defense level of 60. The grind itself isn't terribly long, and it eventually rewards you with the second best melee offensive shield slot item in the game, which actually isn't as niche as it sounds. You'll be using that bad boy a lot throughout your playtime. Learning how to farm was one of the biggest hurdles I had to jump when I became a member again a few years ago. I looked into it a little bit and saw what I thought was a huge learning curve and a myriad of requirements and recommendations to begin farming. So I put it off for the longest time because I didn't feel like tackling something new. When I finally sat down and did my research, I realized it wasn't that hard and I found you can make consistent, easy money with it. It would be impossible to explain everything you need to know about farming in this video, but I do have an introduction into farming rounds where I go over the basics if you want to learn more. I personally think farming is one of the most complete skills in RuneScape because it has a lot of content for it and it's useful for different reasons at all levels. I'd say if nothing else, just do it to learn one of the new member skills and experience that pure euphoria you get when you watch those big XP numbers fly across your screen. I will say that out of all the goals on this list, starting a decently efficient farming run will take the most time because of the number of items and quests you need to have ready, but completing some of the other goals in this top 10 list will also benefit your farming training. I had to do it to him. Monkey Madness 1 is probably the first master level quest most accounts complete, and it's perhaps the most difficult goal on this list. Completing this quest unlocks the coveted Dragon Scimitar, one of RuneScape's most iconic weapons and the best melee training weapon you'll have until you unlock the whip at level 70 attack. Wielding the scimitar does require level 60 attack, so I'd hold off on doing this quest until then, but definitely keep it in the back of your head as something you should do when the time comes. And for the very last time in this video, I will recommend to you that of course you should look it up with a quest guide or video to help you through it. Lord knows you'll need it. And that about wraps everything up here in this top 10 list. I did want to say that I know I was a little vague on some of the specifics of these goals, but the video would be 10 times longer if I explained everything completely, and every good RuneScape player needs to master the skill of looking up things they want to know. Of course, these top 10 goals were my own personal opinion on what to strive for, but if you want to play a different way or do something else, then go for it. You should play the way that makes it the most enjoyable for you. As always, I would immensely appreciate a like on the video if you enjoyed it. As of right now, my channel is still in baby mode and I can use all the help I can get. But this also means I can easily answer anyone that has a question about anything I talked about in the video, or RuneScape in general, so feel free to ask. But that is all for now, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one.